Hey you guys, it's me Rachel here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso. So I initially want to apologize because I forgot my microphone inside. So there's probably going to be some wind, but bear with me. So I'm doing some training with Gina. As many of you know, I talked about her temperament being a problem. And her having like a weak temperament, and anyway, and I realized that I really hadn't given her an opportunity to really develop like I should have. I'm not going to go into detail, but sorry about that, my phone cut off. So as many of you know, whenever I got back from Europe, my house was a mess and things really hadn't been taken care of properly, and the dogs had not been taken care of, and just my whole world kind of fell apart whenever I got back for various different reasons. And I just didn't really give myself enough credit for that. I'm the type of person that kind of suffers in silence, and I just kind of put my head down and I keep moving. And when you do that, it's great and it's fine and it's whatever, but it can impair your judgment, and it can impair it because you don't know that you're emotionally as distraught as you are. You know what I mean? And so when I was working with her, I was probably not emotionally at my best point, and the dogs can obviously pick up on that. And Gina's a very sensitive dog. She's a very submissive dog, and so I think that she responded to that. And so in me, I just got frustrated. I just didn't recognize enough of I didn't give myself credit for what I was going through, and therefore couldn't see her clearly, because she was responding to me. So I talked a lot with my best friend about it, and really just decided that I needed to give her the one-on-one attention that her personality needs in order to really assess where her temperament really is. And so I'm working with her now. And I'm going to explain to you guys what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So that now that I am in a better place. Like I said, I'm not going to go into it, but suffice to say that my daughter's 14 years old, and I think that most of us were having a really hard time when we were 14 years old, and I'm a single mother, and that pretty much should say it all. We were struggling, and that's been very hard on me, and hard on our family, and hard on the dogs, and especially hard on Gina, because she has a very soft personality. It doesn't mean that that she's a bad dog or anything like that, and it's hard to know exactly what that's going to end up being like. I don't know, but what I do know is that I did not take the effort or the time to really bond with her on a one-on-one way, the way that, say, I did with Giovanni, who also he's a little bit softer, a little bit sweeter of a dog. And so, which I really did take the time with him, because I raised him and I knew him very well, and I just didn't really give Gina the shot that she needed, because like I said, I wasn't even in my best place mentally. And I couldn't, because I was dealing with it so well on the surface, I didn't recognize that my judgment was off. So I hope that me working with her and giving her that one-on-one time and really doing some confidence building with her and some basic training with her will help me see what is true about her and what's not true about her, and give her the shot that she needs to see whether or not she really does have a weak temperament, or if she just kind of has a softer temperament and kind of got left in the wayside while everything else was doing its own thing, and everybody else was doing a lot better, and she just kind of was sticking out like a sore thumb. And I was working with this other dog, Safi, who I think, you know, she's sweet and all, but she definitely does have a different kind of temperament, not one that I would breed. And so it was easy for me to just say, oh, well, they're the same, instead of really giving her the shot that she needs. And so I hope that, you know, that you guys can forgive me for my, you know, lack of judgment in that area. Like I said, I'm not going to go into detail because it's a family thing. It's personal. You know, you guys were 14 once too. Maybe you are now, and you wouldn't want your business out there for everyone to know what's going on. And I'm not going to do that to my daughter. But suffice to say that we've had a very difficult time recently. And so, anyway, so I am, you know, trying to balance all of that, trying to give my daughter the help that she needs, and then the dogs, and really kind of manage all of that. And so I really felt like I had a guilty conscience, and normally I don't. Like, if I've done something right, I don't have a guilty conscience. But I had a guilty conscience when it came to Gina, and I kept thinking that maybe I hadn't done something right. And so I'm not going to sit here and say that she's a perfect dog. She's definitely not. But I can't necessarily blame her either, because I haven't really given her the one-on-one time that I have other dogs that, like, for example, like Giovanni, that have like that same kind of issue, or even Velocity. Many of you know I spent a lot of time training Velocity to get her where she is, and I just haven't spent that time with Gina the way that I should have. So I'm going to do that now. I recognize that I made a mistake, and I'm going to do that now. It's not going to be the easiest thing in the world, but what I have found is that as long as she feels that she's not going to get into any trouble, or not going to get any harsh corrections, then she does tend to do better. She does tend to shut down. She did that from the day I got her. I remember I took her to a boutique pet store the day after I got her, and she was literally like, just, I almost had to drag her through the door frame. You know what I mean? She would take a couple steps and then lay on the ground. She's just a very, very submissive dog. And it's hard for me to blame her because of everything she's gone through. You know what I mean? She flew, from Europe over here, and she was kept in a kennel environment over there, and now she's over here with a bunch of dogs, and it's just, she hasn't had the opportunity to really be seen as an individual and to be respected as an individual. And I want to make sure that I give her that so that she can blossom, so that we really can see who she is as an individual, and what is true about her and what's not true about her. And so all I'm really doing with her is I've just been basically trying to get her to be okay with being on leash, which I had already kind of leash trained her before, but hadn't really done any general commands, which I'm not going to right now either. All I want to do is just kind of walk with her and let her understand that the leash is nothing to fear. It's not a bad thing. And to just kind of recognize that this is just an opportunity for her to kind of hang out and for us to spend some time together. I really want she and I to bond, and and not every dog needs that. A lot of dogs just kind of have a natural confidence, but she just doesn't. She's going to need more one-on-one time. And so that's what I'm going to be doing with her. So anyway, so yesterday it was pretty bad. Like she would take a couple steps and then she would roll over, like what she did earlier. She'd go in submissive posture, take a couple steps, roll over, and I would have to kind of give her some love, rub on her really good and kind of help her get some confidence to know that she's not going to get hurt. She's not in any trouble. We're just walking. You know what I mean? Oopsie, exactly. So, and you see, I didn't do anything, it's okay. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. So, because she kind of freaked out, I'm just going to give her some love here, just so she knows she's not in trouble. You're not in trouble. No, you're not. You're not in trouble. And so the thing about a weak temperament is if she has an actual weak temperament, she won't come out of this. It won't get better. It's not going to change. She'll continue to behave this way. I have a feeling that it will get better. And that's what I'm hoping. And so, come on, girl. Good girl. Yeah, such a good girl. Yes, good girl. Yes, such a good girl. See how she does the low walk? That's what we call like a cat prowl. It's just a confidence thing. And then she hits the deck. And so I'm just going to take the opportunity every time she does that to kind of rub her down, give her some love. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. Oh, baby. Just so she knows she's not in trouble. And we'll just kind of move on. Come on. Come, Gina. Good girl. Good girl. And just give her some affection whenever she does it. Good girl. Yeah. Good girl. Yeah. What made me think of it was, so one time I dated this guy and he had 2 wiener dogs. He had a red one and a black and tan one. The red one was named Red and the black and tan one was named Kobo. And every time that I would come over, Kobo would go running underneath his bed. And he, good girl, come on. And he, and I asked him, I said, oh, what's wrong with that dog? And he was like, oh, he's just he called him a pussy, I think, or something like that. And he just was very dismissive. And so, I felt sorry for the dog. And so I went out of my way every time I came over to just really do the thing that you normally wouldn't want to do with your dog, which is this very high-pitched, oh, did a Kobo, and I'd give him lots of love, and I'd rub him down, and he would come over, and he would get so excited. And over time, his confidence level grew to the point that he didn't go and run and hide. He actually came out, and he got a lot more sociable, and he ended up being such a good dog. Come on, girl. That whenever he moved, he ended up keeping Kobo, come on, and not the red dog. I don't know why he could only keep one dog, but he did end up moving, and so he only kept Kobo because he ended up being such a great dog, and all he needed was confidence, and dogs know how you feel about them. They may not know, exactly how you feel, but they do pick up on your general emotion. And me having the things that I had going on in my life, I was also being dismissive of Gina because she was the weak link. You know what I mean? I had all these dogs that were very tough and everyone's doing good and everything's fine. And then I've got this one that is just shutting down and not doing well. And instead of giving her the time she needed and being compassionate, I was more dismissive. And I didn't, it wasn't intentional. Like I said, I just didn't really recognize what I was doing or why I was doing it because I wasn't even being honest with myself about what I was going through. And it's actually not very different from the story of the guy that I was dating. He was also going through a lot and had just had a divorce. And suffice to say that I was the girl that he dated after that. So obviously it didn't work out. I guess they call it the rebound. You good girl. And but anyway, but so, when we're going through stuff, what I'm trying to say is he wasn't a bad guy. It wasn't his intention. Like I said, he kept the dog. He loved him. He just didn't know, he as they say, you don't know what you don't know, until you know. So, I had to be honest with myself about Gina, take some responsibility. It really took me kind of being honest with myself about what I was going through to recognize that I could do better. And I think that's a lesson that we can all learn from. And that's why I wanted to be open and honest with you guys about it. That's not to say that Gina's ever going to be as confident as any of my other dogs, but it doesn't mean that she has a weak temperament or a bad temperament. In fact, in the little bit of time that I have worked with her over the last 2 days, she's actually done remarkably better. I mean, heck, even on this walk, I think you can just tell that she went from really kind of shutting down and kind of cat prowling, and now she's actually walking better. and starting to kind of relax and not worry so much about getting in trouble. Come, Gina. Come on, Gina. Good girl. Come on, Gina. Good girl. There's a good girl. He's a good girl. And so, anyway, that's, you're a good girl. Yes, you are. You're a good girl. Yeah, so I kind of got behind her there, and it kind of freaked her out a little bit. I just wanted to reassure her, you're a good girl. You're a good girl. And I'm just going to have to keep giving her that reassurance. You're a good girl. So that she knows that everything's fine. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. And right now, like, normally I would correct a dog for getting in front of me, but I'm not going to do that with her. I simply want she and I to enjoy walking up and down my driveway together. That's it. I have another dog here for boarding and training right now. Her name is Belle. I did some work with her earlier. She is a little firecracker. Doesn't have any confidence issues. In fact, if anything, it's the opposite. She's kind of dominant. And I'll do some video of her later, but I like to always do my first videos alone, just because I just don't like to, really, film every last bit of stuff. I do like to work with a dog, because I think that there is a certain amount of pressure for anyone when you are a trainer and you're on the internet and people are criticizing you to produce results immediately, and I like to do it pressure-free so that I can give the dog the time they need and not feel like I'm under a microscope. So in that way, the dog can make any mistakes that they need to make originally, just like I didn't film the first walk that I did with Gina, because it was just so much worse that it's like, people on the internet, it's one thing they have, its opinions, and so I just don't want anything that's going to confuse people or give the wrong impression. Which actually I think is really common. Like, a lot of people watch a dog whisperer, and the reality is that you don't ever see the first couple trainings he does with those dogs. You know what I mean? It's just, a lot of that stuff just is not, it's just not made for TV. You know what I mean? You have to get them to a certain point. It doesn't mean you can't still learn something from it. Of course you can, but some dogs, there's just, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but not everyone can understand. And so anyway, so here she is. I mean, like I said, she's not doing perfectly or anything like that, but she's not doing as bad as she was. Good girl. Good girl. That's a good girl. Yes, that's a good girl. Yeah, it's a good girl. Yeah, good girl. Yes, a good girl. And so anyway, just wanted to kind of put this video out there for you guys. I've been kind of trying to take it kind of slow and really give her the time she needs, and the other dog I have here the time she needs, and then of course working with my other dogs. Hopefully it's not too windy. I'm really sorry about that, but I just already started working with her, and I didn't want to drag her back inside and get the microphone and come back out here, because I really wanted her to feel confident and not really have any pressure on her right now. I just want us to kind of relax together and spend time together. That's it. So, also, I'll leave this at the end because I know that only my most loyal fans actually watch to the end, but a lot of people have been asking me about Alex. He was on some videos recently, was helping me out, and he basically come to help me out because of everything that I've been going through and just kind of offer some support. And I did try out the idea of us getting back together, but unfortunately it just did not work out. He and I, we just don't get along. We're good friends, but we just don't get along in that way. And it actually makes it worse. Like, if we just stay friends, it's awesome, and it's a good friendship. Anything more than that, and it actually is a bad thing, and it ruins any possible friendship that we could have. And I hope that people can respect that and not feel the need to pressure me in that, because it's really not a good thing for either of us. We both deserve to be with people that we are better matched for. And so I'm not angry at him. We're not angry at each other. It just doesn't work like that. So, I've had so many people asking me, even on my Instagram, and I didn't really want to say anything about it because I didn't know how it was going to end up. We don't have the best history, and so it's not like I just wanted to be like, oh yeah, we got back together, and it didn't work out. You know what I mean? Well, exactly what happened. But I can say for sure now that it's not going to happen, that we're not going to do it. So anyway, that's that. So I hope you guys are having a great day, a great Sunday, and I'll talk at you later. Bye.